Earth's hidden gold engine gold forms deep underground under extreme pressure and temperature. Superheated fluids rise through fractures, faults, and shear zones, carrying dissolved metals. As these fluids cool and react with surrounding rock, gold precipitates and becomes trapped within quartz veins, sulfide systems, and altered host rock. Over millions of years, erosion exposes these systems at the surface. What remains visible are surface signals, geological fingerprints left by powerful mineralizing events. These fingerprints are the signs you're about to understand. Sign 1. Rust-colored rock zones. In many gold districts, entire hillsides appear stained red, orange, or deep brown. This coloration is not random. It results from oxidation of iron-rich minerals such as pyrite and arsenopyrite, minerals commonly associated with gold deposits. When these sulfides are exposed to air and water, they weather into iron oxides, producing what geologists call Gaussian zones. Gaussians form above sulfide-rich systems and often mark the weathered tops of large mineral deposits. To the untrained eye, they appear as rusted rock. To geologists, they are warning flags planted by the Earth itself. Large gold mines around the world were discovered after identifying extensive Gaussian caps. Where oxidation is widespread and intense, it may indicate a deep and mineral-rich system below. Sign 2. Quartz veins cutting through. Host rock, gold-bearing fluids frequently travel through fractures and solidify as quartz veins. These veins can appear as white, milky, or glassy bands, slicing through darker host rock. Not all quartz contains gold. However, certain features increase probability. Iron staining along vein margins, crystalline cavities or vugs, banding and repeated fracture, filling associated sulfide minerals. Quartz veins indicate that hydrothermal fluids once moved through the rock, the same fluids capable of transporting gold. Extensive vein networks suggest long-lasting fluid flow and structural pathways that may host significant mineralization at depth. Where quartz veins intersect or cluster, the geological system becomes even more promising. Sign 3. Sheared and broken rock zones. Massive gold systems often form along deep crustal fractures known as shear zones. These zones develop where tectonic forces grind rock masses past each other, creating pathways for mineralizing fluids. Surface expressions include flattened or stretched rock textures, slick, polished fracture surfaces, intensely fractured and crumbly rock, linear zones of crushed material. These structures can extend for miles and act as plumbing systems, delivering mineral-rich fluids from deep underground. When hydrothermal fluids move through these zones, they deposit gold within fractures, veins, and altered rock. Some of the world's largest gold belts are aligned along ancient shear systems formed during mountain-building events. Sign 4. Black, heavy sand concentrations. Where gold deposits erode, heavy minerals are released and transported by water. Because gold is extremely dense, it settles alongside other heavy minerals. These include magnetite, hematite, ilmenite, garnet black sand. Accumulations often appear in stream bends, behind boulders, and in natural sediment traps. While black sand itself is not gold, it indicates a concentration environment where dense minerals settle. Persistent heavy mineral concentration may signal upstream sources capable of producing significant gold. Large placer gold systems often originate from rich primary deposits exposed and eroded over geological time. Sign 5. Altered rock that appears bleached or clay-rich. Hydrothermal fluids do more than deposit gold. They alter the chemistry and mineral structure of surrounding rock. This process, called hydrothermal alteration, can transform hard rock into soft, pale, or clay-rich material. Common alteration indicators include bleached or whitened rock zones, soft clay-like textures, greenish alteration minerals, silica flooding and hardness contrast, Alteration halos may extend far beyond the gold itself, creating a detectable footprint visible at the surface. In large systems, these altered zones can span kilometers. They reveal where mineral-rich fluids interacted intensely with host rock, a critical requirement for gold deposition. Sign 6. Ironstone and dense mineralized rock. Ironstone ridges and dense, dark mineralized outcrops often signal hydrothermal activity. These rocks can contain iron oxides, silica, sulfide remnants, mappable structural alignment. Iron-rich mineralization can form when hydrothermal fluids deposit metals within fractures in porous rock. Over time, weathering removes softer material, leaving resistant iron-rich ridges. These ridges may trace the mineralized pathways beneath the surface. In some regions, ironstone horizons align directly above gold-bearing zones. Sign 7. Ancient river terraces and elevated gravel deposits. Gold systems are not only buried underground. Over millions of years, erosion transports gold into river systems where it accumulates in placer deposits. Ancient river terraces, elevated gravel layers above modern waterways, often represent former river channels. These ancient channels may contain concentrated gold transported from primary deposits upstream. Because gold resists weathering and movement, it remains trapped in gravel beds long after rivers shift course. In some historic gold regions, terrace gravels have yielded enormous quantities of gold. Their presence signals prolonged erosion of a mineralized source area nearby. When signs appear together, each of these signals tells part of a geological story. But when multiple indicators appear together, quartz veins cutting through iron-stained rock within a sheared zone, accompanied by alteration halos in heavy mineral concentrations, the probability of a significant gold system increases dramatically. Large deposits require structural pathways, mineralizing fluids, chemical trapping environments, long geological time. When these factors align, the Earth constructs immense gold systems hidden beneath seemingly ordinary landscapes. Gold deposits do not form quickly. They develop over tens of millions of years through tectonic activity, hydrothermal circulation, and erosion cycles. Mountains rise and erode. Fluids migrate through fractures. Minerals precipitate and accumulate. Rivers redistribute sediments. What we see today is the final stage of a process that began deep within Earth's crust long before human history. Understanding surface indicators allows us to read this deep timeline. Despite modern technology, many gold systems remain undiscovered. Vegetation cover, sediment burial, and weathering can obscure surface signals. Some deposits lie beneath transported sediments, volcanic cover, or deeply weathered rock. Yet even concealed systems often leave subtle geochemical or structural clues detectable through careful observation and scientific analysis. The Earth rarely hides its secrets completely. It whispers them through geology. Mountains, ridges, river valleys, and rock exposures are not random. They reflect underlying structure and mineral composition. Gold deposits are controlled by geology, not luck. They've been right under your feet all along, and you never knew. That ugly rock in your backyard, it might be a diamond in disguise. Beneath the surface of rivers, mountains, and dry valleys lies Earth's most coveted secret, raw diamonds. Unlike the sparkling jewels in rings and museums, these diamonds wear a cloak of camouflage. In their natural state, they're rough, cloudy, and easy to mistake for worthless stones. But if you know the clues, the hidden patterns, the geological whispers, you can spot them. Welcome to a world where science meets treasure hunting. This is how raw diamonds hide in plain sight. Forget the perfectly cut sparkle. Real diamonds start off looking like dull pebbles. Most raw diamonds are octahedral or cubic in shape, but erosion can soften their form. They often appear greasy, translucent to opaque, and vary in color from pale yellow to brown or even gray. Some may show a waxy luster or slight metallic glint under strong light, but never the blinding shine you expect. Their surfaces can be pitted, cracked, or rounded from being tumbled in rivers for thousands of years. And here's the kicker. Many raw diamonds are hidden inside host rocks or kimberlite pipes, looking just like ordinary rubble. Unless you've trained your eyes, you'll likely walk past them. To find a raw diamond, don't just look at the stones, study their neighborhood. The most common host rock is kimberlite, a deep earth volcanic rock that forces diamonds to the surface during ancient eruptions. Kimberlite looks bluish-gray when fresh and crumbly or yellow-brown when weathered. Lamprite is another one. It's rarer but has brought up some large stones in Australia and India. Both rocks might contain olivine, garnet, ilmenite, and magnetite, mineral indicators that suggest diamond potential. If you spot a crumbly blue-gray rock with a peppering of green or red crystals, stop. That's a strong signal. Diamonds form under extreme pressure and temperature deep in the earth. Over time, volcanic activity pushes them up via pipes. So, where do you look? Ancient cratons. These are old, stable pieces of Earth's crust where diamonds formed billions of years ago. Southern Africa, parts of Canada, Siberia, and the Guyana Shield in South America are examples. In riverbeds, look for places where erosion could have freed diamonds from their host rock. Bends, drop-offs, natural riffles, and bedrock cracks. Glacial activity also helps spread diamond-rich rocks across wide areas. In parts of Canada and the US, glacial till contains diamond-bearing material transported thousands of miles. Quartz, calcite, apatite, topaz. These are some of the imposters that trick even experienced hunters. They can have similar transparency or shapes, but here's how to tell. Hardness. Diamonds rank 10 on the Mohs scale. They can scratch glass, metal, and most other stones. Thermal conductivity. They disperse heat almost instantly. This is used in handheld diamond testers. Specific gravity diamonds are denser than most other minerals. They feel heavier in your hand. Shape. Look for natural faces, triangular or square, on the surface, often forming an octahedron. If it shatters or scratches easily, it's not a diamond. In 2015, a farmer in Lesotho found a dull, brownish rock while planting vegetables. It turned out to be a 478-carat diamond, worth millions. In Arkansas's Crater of Diamonds Park, visitors have stumbled upon stones worth thousands just by digging through surface dirt. Most weren't sparkling. They were dusty, greasy-looking, even ugly. But to the trained eyes, they were unmistakable. These stories aren't myths. They're proof that raw diamonds don't call attention to themselves. They whisper. Your best tools? Knowledge and observation. When in the field, examine texture and shape in strong light. Use a loupe or magnifying glass to check for natural crystal faces. Learn to feel weight differences. Bring a scratch plate or piece of glass for quick hardness tests. Also, keep your eyes open for indicator minerals, tiny red garnets, black ilmenite, and green olivine. From Canada's Northwest Territories to the Guyana Shield and the vast plains of southern Africa, nature has scattered diamonds across vast regions, but they're hidden in silence. In the US, try the Arkansas Crater Park. In South America, Brazil and Guyana have alluvial fields still yielding stones. And in Australia, the Ellendale and Argyll regions continue to produce industrial-grade diamonds. Wherever ancient volcanoes once raged and rivers now run, you might be standing on treasure. You've seen how raw diamonds can hide in plain sight, but now it's time to sharpen your instincts and uncover the subtle clues that even geologists miss. Diamonds rarely travel alone. They're accompanied by specific minerals that act like breadcrumbs to their location. These include garnet, especially pyrope garnet, deep red and often rounded. They indicate high-pressure origins. Ilmenite, a black metallic mineral, often magnetic, commonly found in kimberlite pipes. Chromite, dark brown to black, highly reflective and heavy. Olivine, pale green, glassy, and often weathered to a yellow-brown crust. When these show up together in stream sediment or gravel, it's time to dig deeper, literally. Over thousands of years, wind, water, and ice transport diamond-bearing material far from its source. Here's how nature does the hard work. Rivers. Water cuts through host rock, freeing diamonds and rolling them into downstream bends and bedrock traps. Glaciers. These frozen bulldozers crush, carry, and scatter diamond-rich till across vast landscapes.
I'm in Kalgoorlie and my car had a little bit of a problem. One of the belts cracked and a friend who's a mechanic saw it. So we're at the workshop pulling the pig apart and fixing it as I'm heading home. So very grateful at this point in time. Very grateful. I'm in Kalgoorlie and my car had a little bit of a problem. One of the belts cracked, and a friend who's a mechanic saw it. So we're at the workshop pulling the pig apart and fixing it as I'm heading home. So very grateful at this point in time. Very grateful.